Hey there everyone, Sal here. Today I've got an update, not necessarily something new, but I am very pleased with the work I've been doing. My time had come to work on my old AOE code for fire damage, and oh man, knowing what I know now, that code is messy and horrendous and I didn't like it. It was around 5,000 lines of code and I was able to bring it back. I thought I'd bring it back to around 500, but that was a little bit of a tall order, but I still managed to bring it back to like 1,000 lines of code, which still is a significant improvement. Here we have Khalil, and she has multiple attacks. Let's use L-Fire on this enemy so we can see that the enemy on 3 HP doesn't die. He just gets brought down to 1 HP. Fire magic, it'll do AOE damage. There will be a couple of ways where you can mitigate this. If you are facing a Spirit Charmer, a Fire Spirit Charmer specifically, they will not trigger the AOE, so that's one way. Another way is by the Nullify effect. No, I'm saying that wrong. The Negate effect, which is going to be a new skill in the same vein as Nihil, Parity, Fortune, and Nullify. Those will be able to also negate the effect of the AoE, that's like the added effect of the fire tomes. If we take a look with Khalil and we just finish off this enemy right here, it'll do the AoE, it will not attack or not splash damage onto our own units, which is great. There's going to be a couple of other ways. Fire mages will not take the AoE damage, and I'll try to list this either in the glossary or make a tutorial for this as well. We can try with Tormod. There's just so much going on in the background with this coding. There's a lot of units, like you have to have a specific hidden skill, the fire skill. And not just the mages have this, actually Anna and Gareth have this as well. Here we can see she does the 3 damage and, well, she'll do a bit of AoE splash damage as well. Same for Gareth, his one is actually a bit stronger. He's going to deal, I believe, 40% of units' health in the AoE damage. As you can see, that's quite significant. That's the same level as, I believe, Cymbalin and Rexflame currently. I might make it so that the outer edges take half damage, so here it would be 40 for Rexflame and Gareth's Breath, and then here it would be 20%. If that was an enemy. It's Joffrey, so let's not attack him. However, we also have the Flame Lance, and this wasn't previously possible. But we also have, of course, the Flame Lance doing AoE damage. And yes, that's not just Dunvet. We can also, for example, give it to... Well, we can only give it to Oscar right now because I didn't really pay attention, and Nephany doesn't have S-Lances, and neither does Fiona or Joffrey. Oscar actually didn't have it as well, or didn't have it either, but Tormod luckily came with an arm scroll, so I was able to actually rank him up to S rank, just for the purposes of this video. And you can see it's literally just a weapon, because if I attack with Dunfet and his Blessed Lance, which of course is light magic, then it won't trigger any AoE damage. As we can see here. Now, I'll quickly go into the coding while the game is running. There are so many conditions that I'll have to list, but if the target if the unit that you're targeting, or if you are being targeted by an enemy using fire magic, if you are a Spirit Charmer, if you have the Negate Scroll or Negate skill, or if you have Mantle at the ready, then the AoE just doesn't happen. Those are like the few ways where you don't have where you negate the entire AoE. If the people that are normally affected by the AoE splash damage, so not the target of the spell, but the people around that person, have either the Fire Mage skill or have the Fire Spirit Charmer skill, which basically becomes the same thing, then they also will not take any AoE damage. I'll probably include this for red dragons as well. I believe I did this already. Like, they just have the Mage Fire skill, which is hidden. And yeah, that means that red dragons won't take damage and fire mages won't take damage. However, if you're a wind mage and you're able to cast fire magic, you will still take splash damage because it's your primary weapon affinity that it's focused on. I'm going to be able to use this code as well for a lot of other stuff regarding wind magic or lightning magic, thunder magic, excuse me. So I hope to get a couple more really cool effects going. The negate skill, which I mentioned before, which will negate the AOE damage, will also negate anything from wind and thunder. However, because dark and light magic are based off of weapon triangle, these won't be able to be coded away. Like, I can't negate those because it's a weapon triangle thing. So to work around this, I'll have to figure something out, or I'll give the negate skill on enemies to those enemies that don't take effect from light or dark magic effects anyway. Like, the dark magic is extra might versus sword, lances, and axes, and the light one is extra avoid versus lances, axes, and swords. So if I want to give negates to an enemy, it probably has to be one that doesn't wield any of those weapons, or maybe wields like a wind edge, because that technically counts as wind magic and thus is not affected by that weapon triangle. There's going to be a lot of stuff to figure out, and I'm looking forward to it. For now, it's a, well, relatively short video, but it's mostly an update, and I'm just very excited to showcase how my code has improved over like the last couple of years. Anyway, that's it for me for now. I'll have an update soon, hopefully regarding either wind or thunder magic. And as always, thank you to my channel members and patrons. Really appreciate it. And if you want to know more, you can always join the Discord down below. Sal out.